Hello, my name is Charles Brown, and in this video I'm going to talk about the professional interview I conducted for this assignment and reflect on what I learned from it. For my interview, I spoke with Stephanie Brown. She has a Master of Social Work degree from Concord University, and she currently works as a clinical therapist at a local inpatient psychiatric hospital. I chose to interview her because she works directly in the helping profession and has real experience working with people who are going through serious mental health struggles. I felt like that made her a strong person to interview for this assignment because she could give practical insight on what this kind of work is actually like on a day-to-day basis. The first thing I asked her was her name and her job title and her degree. She said her name was Stephanie Brown. She works as a clinical therapist and that she earned her master's degree from Concord. That answer established her qualifications right away and showed that she has both the education and the direct field experience that relate to this assignment. Her degree prepared her for a career in social work and mental health, and her current position puts her in a setting where she is helping people during some of the most difficult times in their lives. The next question I asked was about her job duties. Stephanie explained that as a clinical therapist in an inpatient psychiatric hospital, she works with patients who are in crisis or struggling with serious mental health concerns, and also works with people suffering from substance use disorder. Her job involves supporting patients therapeutically, helping assess their needs, and being part of the treatment process while they are in a structured hospital setting. Even though she did not list every task one by one, it was clear from her response that her work requires emotional awareness, communication skills, patience, professionalism, and the ability to stay calm in some intense situations. Inpatient psychiatric care is not a light or casual environment, so her role carries a lot of responsibility. When I asked about what she finds fulfilling about working in that field, she said that helping people is the most fulfilling part. I thought that answer was simple, but it also said a lot. At the heart of the helping profession is the desire to make a positive difference in people's lives. In her case, that means working with individuals who may be overwhelmed, unstable, going through some of the hardest periods in their lives. Being able to support people in those moments and help them move towards stability is meaningful work. It reminded me that the reason many people enter this field is because they genuinely want to help serve others and be useful in a way that makes a difference. I then asked what she found challenging about working in the industry. She said the biggest challenge is barriers to care. It wasn't really an answer I was expecting from someone who works around mentally unstable people. I thought that might have been the most challenging part. And it says a lot about her putting the needs of the patients before her own feelings. It shows that helping people is not always as simple as knowing what they need. There's often outside factors that make treatment harder to access or continue. For example, people may face insurance problems, transportation issues, struggles with follow-up care, or any kind of limitations that interfere with getting help. There's also a stigma surrounding mental health that keeps people from seeking it out, and they don't seek it out until it gets worse. Her answer helped me see that people in this profession are not just helping people with symptoms. They're also dealing with larger symptoms and obstacles that can make recovery even harder. The next question was about professional growth. Stephanie said that she is currently under clinical supervision and she's working to earn her independent license. She also attends continuing education trainings. I thought that was important because it shows that growth in this field continues long after college is over. Graduation, it's not the finish line, it's really the beginning of a longer process. Supervision helps her develop as a clinician while also making sure she's practicing responsibly and learning from experience. The continuing education trainings also show that the CEU trainings also show that continuing education is necessary in the field. Mental health professionals have to keep learning. They have to keep improving and stay current in their knowledge and their skills. A level of commitment says a lot about how serious this profession is. The final interview question I asked was what recommendations she would give to students pursuing work in this field. Her advice was to make sure this is really what you want to do. She said this work can be mentally demanding and that dealing with other people's problems can be very taxing. I appreciated that answer because it was honest. It would have been easy to give some polished, inspirational speech, but her answer was more realistic. This kind of work can absolutely be meaningful, but it can also be emotionally draining. People considering this path need to understand that before stepping into it, wanting to help others is important, but so is being mentally prepared for the weight that comes with that responsibility. When I sat and reflected on this interview, I learned several things. First, I learned that helping professions can be deeply rewarding. Stephanie's answer about fulfillment made that clear. Helping people is meaningful work, especially when those people are dealing with some serious mental health issues and need a lot of support. Second, I learned that the profession also comes with some significant emotional and practical challenges. It's not just about compassion. It also requires endurance, emotional maturity, and the ability to manage stress in a healthy way. I also learned more about how complicated mental health can be. Her point about barriers to care gave me better understanding of how difficult it can be for people to get the help they need, even when the need is obvious. That part of the interview made the field seem more complex and more realistic to me. It showed me that helping professionals often have to work within systems that are imperfect, limited, and sometimes very frustrating. Another thing I took away from this interview is that professional development is a constant part of the job. Hearing her talk about supervision and CEU training reminded me that people in this field just can't be stagnant. They have to keep growing and learning and refining their skills. That's important because the work they do affects people in real serious ways. The interview also helped me think more honestly about what it takes to work in a helping profession. Stephanie's advice made it clear that this is not a field a person should go into lightly. It takes commitment, emotional strength, and self-awareness. It takes a willingness to keep learning and a willingness to carry difficult things without losing your ability to function as well. That gave me a more balanced understanding of the profession. It is rewarding, but it is also demanding in ways that should be taken serious. Overall, this assignment gave me a better understanding of the helping profession and what it looks like in a real-world setting. Interviewing Stephanie helped me see both the positive and difficult sides of working in mental health. I came away with more respect for the people who work in an inpatient psychiatric setting and a clearer picture of the kind of dedication this work requires. More than anything, this interview showed me that helping professions are meaningful, but they also ask a lot from the people who chose them.